So this can be the phase matching condition can be achieved by using the condition that the refractive index of the highest frequency should take the lowest refractive index. Okay, so the refractive index of the highest frequency should take the polarization corresponding to the lower refractive index. Suppose if the crystal is passing through the if the light is passing through the positive crystal, then the omega 3 should be the ordinary ray, because the ordinary ray is having the lower refractive index. But if it is passing through the negative crystal, then the omega 3 the omega 3 should be the extraordinary ray. Okay, then only we can achieve this condition. Okay, so if the highest frequency wave, in bracket we can write omega 3 is polarized in the direction of lowest refractive index of double refracted ray, then above condition can be achieved. So again, I repeat, in the case of positive crystal, the omega 3 should be ordinary, and in case of negative crystal, the omega 3 should be extraordinary. Okay. Now again, in order to achieve this condition, there are two different ways, uh, and these two different ways are called the type 1 and type 2 phase matching. So we can call it as a type 1. First, we can discuss about type 1 phase matching. So in case of type 1 phase matching, both incident ray will have same polarization. Okay, so for reference better we can keep the definition of the positive and negative crystal here. Okay, so both incident ray will have the same polarization, and omega 3 will have polarization of lower refractive index. So remember the phase matching condition we can write n1 omega 1 plus n2 omega 2 equal n3 omega 3. So this phase matching condition, so in case of first we can start with the negative crystal. Okay, we are with written positive crystal, so we can start with the positive crystal. So in case of positive crystal, so if both omega 1 and omega 2 is of same type, so the omega 1 and omega 2 should be extraordinary in case of positive crystal. So it would be n1 extraordinary omega 1 plus n2 extraordinary omega 2 must be equal to n3, and that must be ordinary omega 3. Okay, and what about negative crystal? So both omega 1 and omega 2 of same type. So in case of negative crystal, the ordinary is having higher refractive index. So both omega 1 and omega 2 must be ordinary, and omega 3 must take the extraordinary refractive index. So N1 O omega 1 plus N2 O omega 2 equal N3E omega 3. Okay, so we have explained what is made the type 1, the phase matching condition. The type 1 phase matching condition is will be present if both the omega 1 and omega 2 is following the same polarization. Okay, now we can discuss about the type 2 and discuss here itself. Type 2 phase matching. So in case of type 2 phase matching, the omega 1 and omega 2 will take the orthogonal polarization. Omega 1 and omega 2 take orthogonal polarization, and omega 3 will be, of polarization of will have polarization of lower refractive index. Okay, so again we can start with a positive crystal. So obviously in case of positive crystal, your the omega 3 must be ordinary, but omega 1 and omega 2 would be NO or NE. That's the case. So what we can write down, N1E omega 1 plus N2O omega 2 equal N3O omega 3. You can write the other way around also, because omega 1 is of lesser frequency. So it will be better the omega 1 is having the lesser refractive index. So that way also the textbook is written in that way. So better I'll be following the textbook notation. Okay, so the N1O and N2E. Okay, so it should be mutually perpendicular. And what about negative crystal? So negative crystal, we can write N1E omega 1. So in case of negative crystal, the extraordinary is having lesser refractive index, and N2O omega 2. And what should be omega 3? The omega 3 should have should take the extraordinary form or extraordinary polarization N3E omega 3. Okay, so now we have got the exact conditions of the phase matching using the double refraction. So this is the one possible way to achieve the phase matching condition. Otherwise, it is not possible using in a normal crystal. So for suppose if the crystal is having a cubical symmetry, we will not get such kind of the phase matching. Okay, so remember, uh, in order to get the double refraction, there should be asymmetry inside the crystal. The different direction should have the different velocity. If the wave is traveling along different direction, it should get the different speed. That means it gives the different refractive index. So refractive index changes with the direction of propagation of light, and that is not possible if the crystal is posing symmetries. If the crystal is posing cubical symmetry and all, we will not get such kind of phenomena, double refraction phenomena. So that means the system or the crystal which is possessing the isotropic nature, which are isotropic crystals, that will not show the double refraction, and we cannot achieve the the nonlinear processor, or we cannot achieve the phase matching condition, and therefore we cannot illustrate, or we cannot produce any such a nonlinear production of light using such crystals. So the symmetry should not be there. Okay, there should not be asymmetry. There should not be the isotropy. Okay, there must be symmetry, but it should not be cubical symmetry. So some other symmetries may give the double refraction phenomena or birefringence phenomena. Okay, so with this, I think we have mm, discussed very detail about the different nonlinear processes and how we can achieve such nonlinear processes in the lab. Okay, but again, this is again a theoretical discussion. So practically, in order to achieve this condition, there are different ways. One is called the angle tuning. So you can rotate the crystal in such a way that the rays travel the direction corresponding to this equation. So that tuning, the angle tuning, is very crucial. And there are other ways called temperature tuning. So practically, or the experimentalists have found out the many ways to achieve this kind of phase matching condition using crystals. Okay, so if you go to any good lab which doing the experiments of the nonlinearity, the nonlinear optics, you can observe these things there. At least if you have an NDR laser, I don't know where, if there is an NDR laser nearby, but obviously if you go to IIT Madras and all, at IITs you can see, and even the in Manipal Institute of Technology, MIT, they have such kind of laser which produce second harmonic, third harmonics, and so on. So they are achieving it by using crystals. So there will be a slot to keep the crystal, and you can keep the crystal accordingly. Then at some orientation produces 2 omega frequency. If you rotate the crystal at some other orientation, produce 3 omega frequency, and so on. So practically the people are using it, and we can also use. So hopefully in future we can see this kind of things even in our lab itself. So the future MSc students may be doing experiments using this nonlinear optics in future. Okay, so that is our hope. Okay, so anyhow, we can stop our discussion of nonlinear optics here. And there are some topics remaining. So it's based on the certain spectroscopy, the different spectroscopic technique. And I think that I will give as an assignment to you. So you can make a note of it, and you can share it, upload it in the Google Classroom. So I will open a link. I think I already given an assignment earlier itself. So these two would be as an assignment, or we can do it as a seminar also. It is up to your choice. So that you can send the comment to me in the Google Classroom, whether you want assignment or seminar. It's up to you. Okay, so anyhow, this is enough for us. And with this remarks, we are stopping the discussion of the nonlinear optics. Bye.